let's keep going, shall we? So because of the fact that Dad did not know, nor could explain to the CPS worker on call, to the ER doctors, or even me exactly what happened, that means that everything got a whole lot worse, and got a whole lot worse real fast. So shortly thereafter, obviously CPS had been coming into our home bi-weekly or monthly. Our case then was upped from just a normal CPS case to what they consider a severe risk case. With this being said, they did have a normal CPS worker, which we had been dealing with currently. However, I will state that said CPS worker was not the nicest. I also did not realize how bad they would actually do in terms of mental anguish and suffering and what would actually happen. Upon meeting shortly after my son went in for surgery the following week on his nose, they did a checkup on my son, and at that point I was threatened with 2 felonies and jail time. His dad was threatened with 2 felonies and jail time, which I understand why he was threatened. I didn't understand why I was threatened. I wasn't even home. I wasn't even home for, I think there was 2 reports I was actually home for. And that's for his 2 of the elopements. That was it. I handle all of my son's medical stuff. I handle all the paperwork. I handle the social workers, the therapists, the meetings, the appointments, taking him to and from. I do all of that myself. His dad does not help. His dad didn't even want to admit after I got him diagnosed that our son was autistic. He was in denial. We were then required to not only have a monthly meeting with DHS, we were also handed a human from Boys Town who is basically, Boys Town here is the right hand of DHS. They work within the state of the DHS system. They do weekly visits and try to help keep the family moving per se. I do love our the worker that we got from Boys Town. She is absolutely glorious. I couldn't ask for a better human. The DHS human, however, that we had was not particularly fantastic. Let me be a little bit sarcastic on this. As a parent who has tried to do everything and anything for her son, including all of the appointments, trying to get the proper stuff in place, I was not only threatened with felonies of child neglect and child endangerment, I was also threatened with a 5-year stint of being put on a child abuse registry. Why? Apparently because I'm an accessory. I don't know. They never gave me the actual reasoning behind it. Being that said, after this incident, it was also put on me from the state. Yes, people, from the state. This is from the DHS humans supervisor at DHS, that I was now to be tethered to my son at every waking moment of him. So if he was awake, I would have to be home with him. If he woke up in the middle of the night during the middle of one of my work shifts, I would have to leave and come home. His dad is not allowed to be with him unsupervised while he is awake. I understand that. I completely get it. However, tying me to my son like that without any help deemed me unable to work because of the inconsistent work schedule. Because most children that have some sort of disability also have sleep issues. My son has them. So it rendered me unable to work. Having to try to explain this to my supervisor my boss at work was hellacious. Absolutely atrocious. I didn't like it. I still don't like it. There was a lot of things that happened at my job where I was put in very vicarious situations which I should have never been put in. But I did what I had to do. I was now tethered to my son in every waking moment that he has. I still am right now. Not even done with this case. With that being said, the state has managed to take away my job. Taking away my job takes away my income. Taking away my income, guess what? I don't get shit. Trying to earn money is extraordinarily hard. My son has started school, which means I can finally attempt to go back to work, but I can only work part-time. I have to be home. As soon as my son comes home from school, I need to be in the house, and I need to be ready to get him. In June, at the end of June, is when I changed DHS workers. They had decided that not only are we a severe child abuse case, I don't understand how that is, especially on my behalf, but that we will be under the DHS thumb for 12 months, till June of next year. At the last meeting I had with our last DHS worker, it was very imperative that she did not like me. No matter how honest or how brutal I was about things, she did not like me. She didn't like anything about me. She didn't like the fact that I told her, you do what you gotta do, but I'm doing everything that is required of me and then some. So I don't understand why you come at me sideways. Because of DHS nitpicking me and dragging me down constantly, I ended up in a very mental health, a very disintegrated mental health situation. That's probably the best way to put it. I had started to disintegrate. I couldn't wrap my head around why I was being punished when I wasn't the one doing anything. When I wasn't the one deemed irresponsible. When I wasn't the one who has absolutely neglected to pay attention to my son while he's awake and he's at home. Excuse me. Oh, my nose is real bad. Because of this, I had stated from the get-go that I would appreciate having therapy. In June, late June, early July, I was told that I was required to get into therapy. I told them, fantastic. Are you paying for it? Because I cannot. You guys have taken my job away. The answer I got was no. The answer I got was, we'll apply for assistance. I was put on an LOA at work. How was I supposed to apply for assistance when I'm on an LOA at work? I was still getting insurance. At the end of that said meeting, she also told me at the beginning of July, which was the last meeting we had with her, that if my mental health didn't improve, she was going to take my child. How is that fair? When you caused all this pain, you've caused all this whirlwind, and it's traumatizing to me that you walk into my house, and I've told you from day one that it's traumatizing to see the government come into my house like that, and then you threaten to take my child from me when I do everything I need to do and everything that's asked of me, and then some, and bend into a pretzel. I don't take that. I also don't buy it. It was at that point in the meeting that I asked her to please leave. Get out of my house. Since then, things have not really done anything. They haven't moved one way or the other. But there's lots of other things that I've been trying to do and have been attempting to do. And I hope you guys are ready, because it's going to get rocky. And it's going to get crazy real fast.